Are you feeling intimidated by all the pro editors online? Are you worried that creating a good looking video takes more skill and time than you have? Don't stress. Today I'm showing you how to edit your videos in under an hour using iMovie. No advanced skills needed. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Recommendations. Today I'm going to show you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned while editing my first videos that help to make editing a quick and painless process. Editing for the first time for me felt really daunting, so I chose to use iMovie because it's known to be really user-friendly and easy for beginners. Today I'm going to break down the 8 easy steps that I use from planning to exporting for efficiently editing your videos. The first step to make your editing more efficient actually comes even before filming, and that is planning out all of the different shots that you want to use. Having a shot list like this makes editing easier because I know all of the different shots that I want to include and the order in which I'm going to include them in my video. So then when I get back to editing, I can just go through this list and know exactly what I wanted to include, including my A-roll and my B-roll. A-roll is the main video, so this talking head that I typically am using and the audio that's going to run throughout the whole video. B-roll is going to include any supplemental shots that add context and help explain what I'm talking about, like this shot list here that helps to show you what my shot list looks like instead of just listening to me talking about it. And that leads me to my next tip, which is to film efficiently. So when you're filming your A-roll and your B-roll, having that shot list is going to allow you to stay focused on what you want in each of those shots so that you can film efficiently and then very easily piece all of the different pieces of your film together when you're editing. So now that you have all your film, we're ready to get started in iMovie. The first thing you're going to do is head over to the projects and hit Create New. You want to select movie. It's going to ask you to import your media, which you can do in a couple of different ways. You can click on here and it's going to give you the option to go through your computer files. You can also just use your Finder here and drag and drop into your movie space. So I pulled in all of the video files that I'm going to use for my YouTube video. So you can see I've got a lot of different talking heads, some animations that we're going to talk about, and some B-roll. When I click on one of these, it's going to give me this preview window here. I can listen through and see if I like how it sounds or just make sure that I'm using the right video. And then when I'm ready, I can drag this video into the feed down here. You can adjust the size of the video here, and it's going to give you, again, a preview in that preview window and then also the audio. The way I like to edit is adding all of my A-roll or my main audio and then adjusting that first and then adding the B-roll and the different animations on top of it. When you're editing your A-roll, there's a couple of shortcuts that are really helpful. So you can see where my mouse is here, shows you where in the preview video it's going to be. When I hit the space bar, that preview is going to play. And then when I hit the space bar again, it's going to pause. The shortcut for creating a break in your video is Command B. And you can see now there's a difference between this first part and this second part. So if this is all video that I want to delete, I can just hit the delete or the backspace button, and now that's all gone. And if I hit play again, then I know that this is the part of the video that I want. So typically what I do is go through all of my A-roll, create breaks, and delete the video where maybe I'm stuttering or I had to do multiple takes in order to get the phrasing that I wanted. And then once I have that, I can start adding my B-roll. When adding my B-roll, I like to refer back to my shot list because I can see now all of the different videos that I wanted to include as part of my B-roll and the order that I wanted to include them. So when I go back to my iMovie, I know that I wanted this clip right at the beginning. iMovie is nice because it will show you where it's going to line up, and it also tells you how long it's going to be. One tip that I like to use is within this preview video here, you can hit I and then O, and it's going to allow you to just pull in that clip that you just chose for your in and your out. So instead of pulling in an entire clip, maybe you know that you recorded for maybe too long or you know exactly what part of that clip you want to use. You can hit the I and O and then not worry about creating all of the different breaks or adjusting your video here. You can adjust the beginning and end of your video though by using this drag at the beginning or at the end if you know that you have extra time at the beginning and end. And as you can see here, even if you did that I and O to pull in the video, you can still extend past whatever that I or O was once it's within your preview window. So I can go back and forth and know which B-roll I want to add in. over and over. As I'm adding in this B-roll, I have a couple of different animations that are green screen. I'm going to talk about animations more in a different video, but just know that you are able to add in an animation with a green screen in the back and then go to this green blue screen here. And now you're just keeping whatever was not green in that video. There's a couple of other options in terms of adding video here. So if I wanted to do a picture in picture, I can have another video happening. And I want to show you how I'm doing it on top of my talking head video.
Another nice feature of adding B-roll is adjusting this time lapse here. So when I add this video of me setting up my bookcase, I really want to speed this up to only take up, maybe a few seconds, 10 to 20 seconds of my video. So here I can adjust the speed to be fast. And when I hit fast, it's going to tell me how fast it goes. And we can preview that. And you can see now that's taking up 23 seconds. Or I can choose a custom speed. So if I think I want it to be, maybe 40 instead of 20, I can adjust it to be 40, and now you can see it's even shorter.
I would say the hardest part of adding B-roll is really just figuring out the timing of what you want to add in and how it lines up with the audio at the back. So really a lot of it is just going to be hitting play, seeing how it looks on the video, adjusting the front, the beginning, so that it's the exact right length that you want. One way that you can kind of expedite that process is by creating those breaks in your videos. So if I know in this A-roll, I can see in my audio that it starts right here. I can do Command B and then line up this animation to start right when that break happens. The next thing you want to do is make sure that all of your audio sounds good and is aligned with what you're showing in your video. And so one tip that I learned specifically when you're doing a screen share is to use the audio from your screen share and match it up with the audio from your A-roll or your film that you are using for kind of your picture within your picture. So here I have my A-roll kind of talking head, and here I have the screen share from when I was sharing how to create thumbnails in Canva. And you can see on these little blue bars here, the kind of audio bumps for each video. And so one really easy way to kind of line up those videos is to get these audio bumps to be really close. And then when I click play, I can continue to adjust so that my audio is lined up. And then I'll select whichever audio is worse, and cut that audio here. So now I know that the audio from my talking head video is matched up with what I'm sharing with my screen share video. And then in terms of volume, so within those blue bars, with those bumps, you can also see this kind of line that's going across the top. If you hover over it, you get these two arrows and it'll tell you what percent of volume from your original audio source it's showing. So typically I keep mine at 100%, but if I were doing maybe background audio, I could really easily drag this down to be a little bit lighter, or if it wasn't loud enough, I could always drag it up to be more than 100%. Once I have all of my B-roll in, I'm gonna wanna start adding the titles and animations. So titles in iMovie have a lot of different options. If you go to the titles page here, you can see each of those as you kind of hover over them. Again, in your preview, it's gonna show you what it looks like. If I had a title that I wanna add to my video, I'll just put it here. And now when I play, it's gonna show up exactly how I want it. Titles, you can also adjust the length like you would for any other B-roll. And then we already talked briefly about animations. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on how I make my animations, and I'm definitely still learning here. There's a lot of different softwares that you can use. But for now, this one I actually created in Canva. And like I said before, I just bring it in with a green screen on the back so that when I pull it in, I can go here and hit green screen. And then it's going to show just that animation that I put on my Canva slide. Okay, so once I'm happy with everything that I've added and I think my video is ready to export, it's a really simple export process in iMovie. You go up here to share. I will typically do export file. You have a couple of different options. You can change the description. You want to do video and audio, and you also want this resolution to be at 1080p. I like to choose best for quality. It might take a little bit longer to create, but it's worth it when you upload. And then I like to choose, again, better quality on the compress here. So when I hit next, it's going to ask me where I want to save my video. I'll hit save here, and then it's going to export my video. Now, I'm obviously not a professional editor. I'm really just getting started in this, maybe just like you. And so iMovie for me was very helpful in my first couple videos, but there are people out there that do this for a living. There are much more advanced tools. There's a lot more options for what you want to create with your videos. And so I would encourage you to play around with different softwares, and please leave a comment below if there's a specific software you want me to look into. I think iMovie has been really great for me as a beginner, but I'm definitely starting to see its limitations. For one, it definitely has limited transitions here. We didn't really get into this, but that's because I actually don't end up using any of these iMovie transitions because I didn't really love any of them. Two, we kind of talked about this, but there really are kind of limited audio availabilities here. So it's mostly just adjusting the level of your audio, and there's a couple of fade in and fade out options here, but nothing terribly complex. There aren't a lot of advanced editing features, for example, motion tracking. So that's definitely something I want to look into as I explore other tools. iMovie is also only available on a Mac. So if you don't have a Mac, obviously that's going to be a limitation for you using iMovie. And then there are limited export options, as we saw. All that to say, I really do think that iMovie is a great option for beginners, and I'm excited to explore other tools together. If you found this video helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and continue to learn alongside me. And please leave a comment and tell me what sort of editing techniques or softwares you'd love for me to explore as I continue my editing learning process together with you. Thanks, and see you next time.